Hi guys, welcome back to another reaction video and thoughts here on Our Eyes Your Eyes. I'm ready to watch episode 2 of season 2 of Vinland Saga, but before starting this video I just want to remind you to subscribe to the channel, click on the notification bell, leave a like to support me, and thanks a lot for the support of the first episode. Okay, in the previous episode we see that Einar, this new character, jumped right into Vinland Saga's story, meets Thorfinn, and now they should work together in this farm where Einar is a slave, and actually I think that even Thorfinn is a slave, or I don't know, we will see. And let's see what's going to happen between the two, because that's the most interesting thing. So are you ready to join me with this? Check it out. Oh. It's better if I don't tell you. Ah, okay, no, I thought the panorama. Ah, wow. I mean, they work in that way. They are the owners. Yeah. Wow. Okay. I've never expected this. Okay, but Thorfinn doesn't have the same enthusiasm. Yeah, I mean, his eyes are still in darkness. I mean, Thorfinn's eyes are not here, let's say. Ah, ma vi är in Denmark. Iceland. The rest. In fact. Yeah, everything, Einar. Uh, but poor trees, I mean, in order to create, we have to destroy anyway. That's true. And when it's about to observe, Thorfinn is a master. Oh, wow, but that master is so great. I've never expected this. And he ate already half, you know. No, actually no. Ma, look. Wow. I mean, wow. Thorfinn is so different. But he's different because he lost his goal, his previous goal, so now for him everything is like nothing. I mean, he doesn't have a meaning in his life now. I mean, I'm talking about Thorfinn. Einar is still impulsive. I mean, he can react still. Oh no. Can he do that? Go, 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 go. That's the same shoulder that he was dislocated in season 1. Yeah, they've tried to be more powerful than you just on purpose, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, they were acting superior. Mm, exactly. It doesn't matter, explains everything. Yes. Yeah, but Thorfinn doesn't react at anything anymore. Yeah, because he doesn't have a purpose in life anymore. So he doesn't care. Wonderful. But I like Einar. Yes. Oh. Oh no, he fell in love already. Einar, let's report. That's the daughter of the master, right? I suppose. But she's looking at Einar or at Thorfinn? Which of the two? Huh? And there's something more important now. Yeah, that's why it would be a wheat farm, because of all the crops they have to cut all the times, yeah. Oh my. But even the master is working. I mean, he's not the usual master, like I'm not doing anything and you do everything. He's joining them, I mean. In fact. I totally agree with this. That's what I was telling you in the previous commentary. I know, it has a difference. Oh. Ah, in fact, because I was supposed to say he is not a slave, not at all. What a spoiled son. To do what? To fight? He can't even take it out. Mm. Okay, okay. Save it for later. Ah, with a sword. Here we go. It reminds me of Thorfinn when at the beginning he said, wow. Another slave of a sword. Ah, yes, Harald is the brother of Knuto. Uh-oh. No, I don't think it's the proper time to interrupt anything. Yeah, I imagined that the young girl did it on purpose. Ketil is the name of the master. Yeah, but look, I don't like Olmar because he is going to make the same mistake as powerful people. They are completely drunk. Not everything, eh? Eh. But it depends on perspective, eh? He thinks he can't do anything, but what about them, that they are under him? Be careful. Oh no, I hope nothing bad is going to happen to him. Here we go. He's trying to communicate with the Thorfinn, but Ah, okay. Thorfinn understands you quite well about this. I feel Einar. I really feel him. But Thorfinn... he has too much to say, but... I remember this scene, it's in season 1, right? But he was there too! Okay, guys, so this episode was completely different than the previous one. I mean, till a certain point, it was different. Then, at the end of the episode, something really important was said by Einar. But first of all, I want to say a few things regarding the beginning of the episode. When the master is introducing Einar to Thorfinn, and he said, you're going to be friends, you have to be friends from now on because I will give you this land once you transform it, I mean once you work on it and you transform it into a wheat farm. Einar is completely shocked, and I was shocked too because I've never expected that what the master wanted to do actually was to give them a place to work, a place to be independent, and something that is totally different from what we expected from the master who was going there to find a slave and whatever. I don't know if this is just an uncovered thing. I mean, does he really want them to be free, or it's just an excuse to tell them something like this so they can work in the meantime and then they are, let's say, rewarded, but later in the future we discover that he's just using them? I prefer to believe that this master is different. I mean, we are in Denmark right now, and this master probably is just trying to let Einar be free to have a property, to have a good job, to sell to the master the wheat that he needs. I wanted to be optimistic this time. I mean, I prefer to believe that the master is just a different master than usuals. I mean, usually we have the image of the master as the one who is always controlling, ordering, asking you to do several things, that is demanding other stuff, whatever. But in this case, we see he's pretty kind. So I prefer to believe this. I mean, I want to believe that this man really wants to give an opportunity to both boys here. I mean, Einar and Thorfinn. But yeah, the enthusiasm that Einar has in this moment doesn't combine, doesn't match with the Thorfinn's behavior. I mean, with the Thorfinn's reaction. We can see that Thorfinn has a completely different way to react at this. He heard this already, but he doesn't have the face as if he's happy to do what he's doing. He simply doesn't have any sort of reaction, and he's so still. Thorfinn's eyes are the typical eyes of a person who's not even thinking, who's not even feeling any sort of feeling. If I have to find a proper word, I would say depressed, because he seems that he is there physically speaking, but his soul is somewhere else. He is not present, he's not there, even if he seems that he's there. That's how I felt. And even how Einar is reacting later after against injustices he's facing because of these other slaves, these other workers that pretend to be more powerful than what they are, but actually they are the same. Einar is really aggressive. I mean, he can't stand injustices, even if he saw lots of injustices even before, throughout his life. He still has the courage to rebel. He still has the will to speak up and say, look, this is not right, why don't you do anything? He still has a little bit of personality, even if he went through something really crazy, like losing his family in front of his eyes, like feeling impotent in front of a devastation and whatever. He still has the personality to react and to say, to speak up his voice, I mean, to say what he really believes. Thorfinn is totally the opposite. I mean, after all of the courage he put in his path, after all he struggled, after all he went through, now it seems as if he's powerless, as if his life is over, that nothing matters. He also said that it doesn't matter to me. It's like as if, yeah, after Askeladd's death, everything is meaningless to him. You ask me to do one thing, okay, I'll do it. You ask me to go somewhere, okay, I'll go. But he has this lack of a personality in this moment that is keeping him undertone, as if he's underwater and he can't even react. He can't even come up again on surface. So that's a great contrast between the two characters. But I think that Einar will help him waking up somehow, and because of what he's saying even at the end of the episode, you really see that Thorfinn is starting reflecting about what happened in the past, especially after Einar is opening up his heart, expressing him his feelings, and try to find in Thorfinn a companion, I mean a fellow, a friend with which he can share his experience. And by sharing this experience, unfortunately, Thorfinn saw with his own eyes what Einar was explaining. I think that he was a part of that group of Vikings or Danes who attacked his village. Or if it's not, anyway, Thorfinn from another perspective can see what Einar felt, could see what destruction was in that moment. And they were both two kids, or actually Einar seems to be older than Thorfinn, but at the same time he felt that moment, because let's pretend that Thorfinn was a part of that group in that moment when they attacked that village. Both of them were there at the same time without even meeting, without even knowing each other, but the feeling was the same because they experienced the things from two different perspectives at that time, with two different experiences, with two different environments, but they were put in the same setting, experiencing that destruction, where fire was the only way to communicate, when destruction was the only solution possible, and on the other side, destruction was the curse in front of Einar's eyes. So I like that they have even these moments in common. Not only they have lots of things in common based on their experiences that they went through, but they have even a setting in common. So it's like as if this meeting was not done without a meaning. It's like as if this meeting was destined, predestined somehow, for both of them to change in a certain way. I mean, to do something that can direct them to a specific direction. We saw that Einar was not complaining anymore in the moment he saw the master's daughter. I think that's her daughter. Einar fell in love instantly with her. I liked these episodes because even in this case, there's no violence in here. There's not what we were used to see in the first episodes of Vinland Saga. It's more still than before, but anyway, it gives you the vibes of how the characters are feeling. They let you understand, and you can even feel a sort of empathy for both these characters, that they are introducing you their state of mind of the moment. While Einar is angry, and Einar has definitely a definition for these people. In fact, he's saying that they are beasts covered by human skin, and that's what they are, because Vikings, they have killed lots of people, and thanks to the skin of the people they killed, they could become powerful, and they wanted to conquer more, to destroy more. So the beasts that they are covered by this skin, that this skin represents all the people they killed. And Thorfinn agrees, but prefers to stay silent because he was feeling underwater. I mean, he was feeling detached from all the things that he felt so far. And in this moment, he's depressed. He doesn't know where to go, he doesn't know what to do, he just follows what he's told. He even doesn't want to react in front of those workers that are provoking Einar regarding the lunch break. He wants to find a sort of a peace of mind, but this peace of mind is confused with the depression. I mean, it's confused with no reactions at all. I don't think that Thorfinn right now is alive. I mean, he is surviving, but you know, I told you many times already, when you survive, you're not living at the fullest. You're just trying to go ahead day by day, doing the same usual things without even thinking, because if you stand up and you start thinking, then it can be painful and you don't want to feel that pain anymore. You wanted to skip that pain because you have felt the pain over and over and over again, and this pain consumed you. You tried to reach a goal to feel better, but at the end of the day, someone stole from you. Of course, Knut in this case, even if it was indirectly, but let's say that Knuto killed Askeladd. Thorfinn couldn't stand this because someone who was even more powerful at that time than him, but anyway, someone always took something that was dear to Thorfinn in that moment. It could have been his dad because Askeladd took his life. It could have been Askeladd because Knuto took his life. Every time there was something that was taken away from Thorfinn. So if he thinks about that once again, he will feel once again all the pain, all the stress, all the struggle that he made for nothing. So for him right now, it's better to skip that and put that aside and prefer not to think instead. But I think that sooner or later, Thorfinn will realize, will understand that that's the wrong thing to do. I mean, it's definitely better to feel, no matter if it's pain, no matter if it's discourage. I mean, it's better to feel something rather than not feeling anything, because you're not supposed to not feel anything. We as humans need to feel. It doesn't matter if it's a good vibe or a bad vibe. We should feel it anyway. Accept the pain, overcome it, and try to restart, even if it's something difficult to do. But anyway, that's something that we should do. We are not going to change anything, no matter what. I mean, no matter if we decide to stop feeling, there will always be something that tells you, look, that thing reminds me of my father. That thing reminds me of that day. As soon as Einar started talking, he immediately went back through time and he remembered that scenario in front of his eyes. And in that moment, he was part of that battle. If I'm not wrong, in that moment Thorfinn decided to join the battle, and then he was even rescued by Askeladd, whatever. I don't know if that's the same setting, because I remember that episode, and in that moment Thorfinn started killing someone. When Einar is talking about warriors here, that's pretty intense, because you know what Thor's meant when he was trying to describe a warrior, and what Thorfinn became as a warrior, and his point of view of what a warrior should be, that they are two different things. Of course, we stand on the Thor's side if we have to pick a side and understand what's good, what's the right evaluation, or that's the right description of what a warrior should be, because a warrior should be the one that can fight without swords, without giving importance to swords. And this makes you understand that you can be a warrior even thanks to words. Do you remember Knuto, when before becoming the king, he was making stop Bjorn just with his presence, just with his lack of fear in front of him, to show his authority in that moment as a prince of Danes, right? So you can be a warrior, you can find that strength and transform it into something else. That doesn't mean that it's powerless, totally the contrary. It's so powerful, but it's a different way. So when Einar was talking about these warriors and how to feel ashamed of what those warriors are, Thorfinn started thinking about what he did, because in his life, he killed. Most of his life, he killed. Even if we know that at the beginning, when he was in Iceland, he was a little boy, he couldn't even defeat his friends while they were playing, right? As you can see, he can't get rid of the past. He can't skip what he was. You can try your best to do so, but something, somehow, or anytime, will remind you who you were. I mean, you have to confront what you were in order to change, in order to be different. If you really want to be different, if you want to follow what your father was telling you, you have to be different. But in order to go on by being different, you should accept what you were, process it, understand the mistake, regret it, go through that pain in order to understand your mistakes, because you were so blind that your goal was more important than human lives. And if Thors was alive, I think that he would have absolutely disagree what Thorfinn was doing, for sure. So even from all these things, you understand the difference of these two characters that seem to be quite the opposite, but as soon as we go on, we understand how much they match, how many things they have in common, and how many things they will have in common later. You can see what I was telling you right now about the concept of a warrior, but in a bad way. Even when it's described the master's son's life. I mean, you could see Olmar, this young boy of 17 years old, that he doesn't want to take care of what his father says. He doesn't even want to handle his father's business later. He prefers to become a warrior. And that's pretty innocent as a thought. I mean, it's too childish when he believes that become a warrior is definitely better than handling the business of his father. It reminds me of Thorfinn when he was young, because when he was a boy, Thorfinn was looking at this sword that his father was showing him, and he was, wow. I mean, he found that little sword as everything that he really wanted. He saw how this sword was shining, but immediately after, Thors was showing him that that shiny sword can be covered in blood, and that makes a difference. So yeah, this Olmar can't even handle a sword in the moment. He's too fragile. And he has no experience about what it is to go fight, to lose, to win, to kill, and all this stuff. He's just dreaming, but dreams are not corresponding to reality. The only thing we know is that Olmar wants to become Knuto's soldier. He wants to feel so great in front of Knuto in order to be recruited, but his perspective doesn't match with the perspective of the workers. Even in this story, I realized that it depends on the perspective, because the workers, they are so jealous of Olmar, because Olmar can do everything over there. He is the son of the master, while they have to follow the orders. They say, why? Do you not realize how lucky you are, because you can do everything you want? But from Olmar's perspective, oh, that's something crazy. They don't understand how unlucky he is, because his father is telling him that he has to take care of his business instead of trying being a soldier under Knuto. And he thinks that his father doesn't understand him. So everything is based on perspective here too. Look at the poor family of slaves that they were working for the master, and they wanted the fortune that Olmar has, so they tried to let the daughter sleep with him, so they can have a little bit of money. They are using their daughter for that purpose, while the daughter is crying hard because of what she's doing. I mean, she's used by her parents in order to become rich. This episode is showing you all different perspectives of different characters, even the workers that they work with the master, and they are following the orders in order to be paid. Even the master has a character. Is really important, because it's not the same and usual master as I told you before. Even the fact that he's working with them, that's something crazy. Because at that time, you would have imagined a master that wants to order, control, do this, do that. As much as I was believing that too in the previous episode when I told you, look, Einar doesn't have the possibility to choose anything. He doesn't have a sort of independence, he's a slave, while Thorfinn was free to go because Askeladd didn't ask him to stay. Let's say he decided to stay for his purpose. on the contrary. But then in this episode I discovered that actually this master wants to give Einar and even Thorfinn this farm, wheat farm that they are going to build by themselves. And he's even working with all the workers. He's making his hands dirty. And usually we don't expect this from the master. Then his name now I discovered is Ketil. So from now on I will call him a Ketil. Each of these characters has a vision of life that is totally the opposite from the other characters. So what's really amazing is to see how the things will go on. We see Einar's point of view, Thorfinn's point of view, the master Ketil's point of view, Olmar's point of view, the family that wanted to use the daughter in order to be rich point of view, the daughter that is used and her point of view. We even saw the point of view of the workers, the other workers working in the farm. We could see even, slightly speaking, the point of view of the daughter of Ketil, the daughter of the master, because she's not saying anything, but she seems as if she can't do anything, or she can't imagine a different life. I mean, her facial expression was telling me something like, I can't decide anything about my future because maybe her father chose her destiny, her future already, who to marry, who to stay with, what to do when he will be gone, etc., etc. I mean, she had that typical sad face of the one who can just observe but can't choose anything for her life. That's my first impression. Then if I'm wrong, I will understand it later for sure. But I think Einar wants to marry her. I mean, Einar will do everything possible to save her from her environment or to show her a different view of the world. That's what Einar usually does. I mean, he's trying to do this even with Thorfinn when he's rebelling and he's saying, is that good for you? How they behave with us, is that good for you? Tell me what you think. I mean, he's trying to scroll Thorfinn, but I think that he will try to scroll even the master's daughter somehow. I like Einar's character. I think that he is the right character that Thorfinn needs in order to wake up. And I really believe that this moment will come soon, because Thorfinn is still thinking. He's still trying to go back in the past, in the moment in which he saw some certain things. He definitely has to wake up from this sort of tedious and still moment of his life, because it can't take you anywhere. And it's such a shame. It's just a waste of time, you know? When you prefer to not feel anything, in that moment you should tell yourself, how much time am I wasting by doing this, by skipping everything, by not feeling anything, by not wanting to feel alive, by not wanting to react. What a waste of time. I mean, Thorfinn is still a young man, and he has all his life in front of himself. So, do you really want to waste your life by keep doing what you're doing, Thorfinn? I don't think that Thors will be so proud of this. I don't think that your family would agree with this. I don't think that Leif would agree with this. Remember that you wanted to reach Vinland, and you even wanted to ask Leif to take you with him, discovering Vinland. I really prefer that he reacts and he says, I wanted to reach what my father couldn't reach. I wanted to do something as a legacy that my father left, so that I will be proud of myself, and also Thor's soul would be proud of what I'm doing. If he can reach Vinland thanks to Leif, and if he can create something in Vinland, something that his father couldn't do, his life, I mean his soul would feel full again, and his life will never be a waste, but he will create a descendants probably, so his life would be not considered meaningless. That's what I hope for Thorfinn. But in order to reach that goal, we need someone that he wakes him up. We need someone that makes Thorfinn understand. Do you remember what you wanted to do when you were a kid? Now there are no more obstacles. It's up to you if you really want to reach that goal or if you don't want. But if you don't want, please remember how much time you're wasting. Look at all the others who would like to be in your position and do what you wanted to do, but they can't because they are slaves. Don't you remember, Thorfinn, the slave that your father saved in episode 1? When your father told that slave, go to Vinland, because in Vinland there are no slaves. Everything is fertile over there. You can cultivate everything that it can grow. There's no ice over there. The weather is warm and still and peaceful. Remember that slave, thinking about the vision of what Thor considered Vinland, he rested in peace. And that was a slave. So Thorfinn, remember all the slaves that they can't even choose their life. You can choose your life. Even if you get fired from that master, your life is free. So we need Einar, and we really need that Einar tells him these kind of things so he can wake up and remember what Thor wanted to do. And the enthusiasm that is completely lost right now, but it can be regained if only Thorfinn wants. Of course, Einar can help him, but until Thorfinn decides to do this, nobody else can do that instead of him. So he needs to get the reins of his life and try one more time to be awake. So let's see what's going to happen. But yeah, I really liked that in this episode not only the perspectives matter, but even the concept of slave. You can see the daughter's master, that I really believe that she's considered a slave because she can't even act about her own life. Look at Olmar, that is already a slave of this sword as much as Thorfinn was, and a slave of this goal that he doesn't even perceive, he doesn't even understand, that now he wants to be a warrior under Knuto, and Knuto was the one who couldn't even fight at the beginning, but now he is the king. And I want to see how Knuto is right now, because I want to see how he changed, if he was enslaved by the power too, or he had a different vision, especially because Knuto has a background story of a certain level. He lost Ragnar, he felt lonely, but he was then being followed by Thorkel, so I want to see how his environment changed right now. Is he guided by wrong people? Is he doing the proper things or not? We only know that anyway Knuto went on fighting because he has lots of soldiers to rule. And there's even his brother Hadlar. I hope that he comes out in this season so we can see Hadlar's personality too. I mean, we have so many things to check, but for the moment there are great premises, and I can't wait to go ahead with episode 3 next time together with you, so stay tuned and keep on watching me. Before ending this video, I want to say that probably I understand when people say that season 1 is different than season 2. I understand why some people believe that part 1, I mean season 1 is better than part 2. I don't really believe that. I mean, personally speaking, I don't need violent scenes, I don't need violence, I don't need action to make myself believe in a great story. As you know, what matters to me is the message of the author. And so far, I can say that Makoto Yukimura made it. Absolutely. I mean, I watched the 2 episodes only so far, but I have to say that those 2 episodes were quite intense. And even if you see the farm's life, even if it's not violent, even if it's not a battle, even if it's actually it's digging into the character's personality. And to me, this matters more than actions. I mean, more than fightings and whatever. I mean, I like that too, but I wanted to dig deep inside Thorfinn's mind. I wanted to understand if I'm guessing right or if I'm guessing wrong. I wanted to understand Thorfinn. I wanted to understand Einar and his thoughts. I wanted to understand why they do certain things, what's up in their mind, what's the consequence of their behavior, and all these kind of things. And I think that this season can help me in these, so I can't wait to go on. And thank you so much for the support, guys. I'll see you next time with episode 3 of season 2 of Vinland Saga. In the meantime, feel free to subscribe to this channel and click on the notification bell. Bye, guys, and see you in the next one. Thank you. See you.